I remember when I put that out, I put it out with a video, and it was like instantly, the reception was way different from the amount of engagement and moreover to specifically what people were saying. You know what I'm saying? And you're seeing them say things like, nah, this the one. Yo, this is Jaywop, and while you sleeping, I'm making history. Crust out your eyes, man.
What really got you into music? How did you first start?
Keeping it a buck, bro, I feel like to an extent, like since I can remember, I've always been like a rapper in my head, if that makes sense. Like what I mean by that is just, it starts the same way as everybody else, you know, just like as a consumer, bro, it could be long walks home, you know what I'm saying, from school, basketball practice or whatever, and you just got a lot of time to just get really invested into the music that you're into, you know what I'm saying? It almost gets to the point where you feel like you on stage performing these cuts that you love from people and shit so much. So I feel like the comfortability and the idea kind of started there for me. And then eventually that just turned into me trying when I was in college, actually. I was going to a university. It was like the 1 year that I did it, and that was the first time like being by myself so much. Like I grew up in a house with hella people and shit, so it was like the first time I was by myself and there was nobody around to judge me. So I'm like, if my music is bad, then can't nobody tell me I suck right now. It's just me in here, you know what I'm saying? So that was pretty much like the start for me. And then it was just like finding comfortability from there to actually start showing people shit that I was making.
All right, cool. And how old were you? You said you were in college?
I was 18.
18?
Yeah, I was 18.
So you just, the first year, just started?
First year, man. Found myself in like one of those little positions to where shit, you feel like you ain't got nobody, you alone, and it's like, okay, now's the perfect time to try some shit like this.
What was some of the music that was first playing in your house when you were younger that, you know, you first caught on to?
Well, first, my fondest memory of hip hop, I remember it was like it was kind of like a show and tell thing that my family, like my parents and my uncles and shit used to do. One mic came out when I was like 4 or 5, I want to say. That's like one of my fondest memories of hip hop, and I knew the whole song like front to back. And mind you, I don't even actually have some of these words in my vocabulary and shit like that. So I think it was just funny as hell to my parents and to the older folks in my crib to be able to see that I knew the words to all of this, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that, biggest memories of shit that played in my house a lot would be probably Ludacris, Outkast, a lot of Scarface, a lot of Sugar Free, you know what I'm saying? Just a lot of, you know what I'm saying, like hip hop that people may have forgotten about, you know what I'm saying? Like if you weren't like one of those people that were lucky enough to be around, you know what I'm saying, when those guys were like in their bag for real and in their prime.
Right, yeah, I mean, some legendary stuff.
Hell yeah, bro, hell yeah.
So like what else, how else was your childhood, you know?
It was changing is probably the easiest theme to like place on that, just because I moved a lot. I finally counted the other day, bro. I went to 13 schools my whole life.
Crazy.
Yeah, I went to 13 schools, bro. So I moved a lot. That was just kind of the theme of my childhood, just change. You know what I'm saying? Constant change. I went through a lot of the average shit that somebody from the hood goes through. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot. You're around a lot of things you probably shouldn't be around. You know, and that's where a lot of us are exposed to, you know what I'm saying, some of these same things that we still talk about 15 plus years later. So, yeah.
It builds a lot of your character real young, especially with that shit.
Facts. A lot of shit you never forget, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. And then that's like being in like a military family type shit, the amount of time you're moving around.
Yeah. Well, you know, we rented, bro. We'll rent a house, you know what I'm saying? We'll live there probably a year or so, sometimes maybe 2, move somewhere else. Like, and after a point, you just kind of stop questioning stuff like that. It's always just like you develop the mindset of like, all right, like where we going next? Like as a kid, it's kind of exciting, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, where we going next? Like, so that was kind of always that for me. And I feel like it has a lot to do, like my comfortability with the way that like the music industry works. you know.
Right. Hurry up and wait. Be able to go on the move last second.
Yeah.
Just being adaptive.
Shit's not popping here. Got to go over here for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Pick shit back up. Boom. Now we back over here. It's just like it's all second nature to me. You know, at this point.
You said you started rapping 18. Did you have some friends that were already rapping and got you into it? You said you were kind of doing it by yourself in the security of being alone, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had some friends from high school that I was still connected to at the time. And, you know, we were all kind of like, it was everybody's first take at just being like, okay, I'm going to kind of toy with the idea of taking this serious. So it was probably like 5 to 6 of us, you know what I mean? And yeah, I had a homeboy that was actually in high school with me. Shout out my boy King Quiz. He was somebody that like when I was in high school, he was already there. Like he already had it. Like so seeing somebody being able to do that and stuff like that, it was like, okay, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta step my game up here. I am just thinking about stuff I want to do, and he's already putting it into action to some extent. You know what I'm saying? So it started there, and yeah, bro, started like 18 in the dorm room, had a couple of homies that we would just send stuff to, you know what I mean, or casually try to work together. And yeah, I feel like, again, that's another thing that's like everybody kind of has like a similar start, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, I mean, everybody just trying, you know, like that's one of the biggest things you gotta like remember and like keep that shit moving. Like,
facts.
Like you're not gonna be able to do something if you don't try it.
You gotta step out the door first, you know what I'm saying? That was the first step of it, so.
Right, and that's like the hardest step too.
Hell yes, hell yeah, I definitely agree.
So you did your first songs, you had a couple people around you doing their first steps in it. What was the next step in the process?
The next step in the process, bro, was just fully embracing, what's the word I'm looking for? Just fully embracing the idea of growth. I had an idea of like where I wanted to take things from the minute I started. It was just just kind of like understanding that I got to go through the journey of just putting stuff out, maybe potentially not liking it, and allowing myself to grow. So the first step after that was just like, all right, we're just gonna put music out. We're gonna at least plant the idea in people's heads that this is what I'm trying to do. We'll see who's rocking, and then we'll just go from there. So that was just kind of the idea. So I was putting shit out anytime I had a kick to. Like if at that time we weren't doing the whole thing to where it's like, all right, you're making a song, you're taking a whole lot of time to prepare for the release, and then you're putting it out. No, we was going to the studio, and shit, from the session when I recorded it, the song would be out within the week of that. You know what I mean? Like just trying to put out as much as I could.
Right, just excited.
That's that initial excitement, bro.
Yeah. So what, you just putting on SoundCloud or?
Yeah, SoundCloud. That was pretty much it. SoundCloud. Then when you learn that you're able to put things on DSP, you know what I'm saying? Boom, we right over to DistroKid with it. You know, like that's the start.
How was the reception off that first song you put on SoundCloud?
It got, and I feel like a lot of artists are gonna be able to relate to this. I feel like your first song is always going to get received kind of well, like especially within the community of the people that either know you or halfway know you. Because if it's good, it's just gonna come off as surprising to them that, oh, okay, you're kind of good at this. I didn't even know that you did this. So it's like the surprise aspect. Everybody was kind of tapping into that first one almost to feel like just to see what you got. The second or third song is really where I feel like you got to start trying to gauge reception and also what I was trying to do. So the first one, I'm like, okay, I know everybody's just gonna tap into just for the sake of supporting this first one. We're gonna see how everybody's feeling once we're, I don't know, 5 to 10 songs in, you know what I mean? That's like the decisive point where people are deciding whether they're going to support you, you know what I mean? Or if they're gonna see it and they're gonna tell this next person like, yo, you see what such and such doing? He doing this bullshit. This shit don't look good. It don't sound, you know what I'm saying? So people look for both opportunities to do so. So it's like, if you bring that shit home, it's like, that's your first like little medal of recognition. Like, okay, I can probably do this if I stick to it.
Right, because end of the day, people just like to talk. You know,
they just want something to talk about.
They don't want to do anything, but if you're doing something for the first time, they can talk about it. Like, yo, this is good.
Good or bad.
Yep.
Good or bad. They got something to talk about now.
What was the first song that gained a little bit of traction where you're like, oh shit, like, I think this might work?
It was literally the first song that I put out after my rebrand, like, so to speak. So I had put out 2, you know what I'm saying, 2, 3 little small bodies of work of just music that I was making. And then I always had this feeling in the back of my mind, like, damn, I'm not really making the music that I want to. I'm just making what I know how to make. And I just had this thing that just clicked, pretty much just like what we was already talking about. Like, you have to try first. You got to try to step outside your comfort zone and do something different. So I was playing with sounds, doing different things. After I dropped a project called 1217, I had decided, like, okay, you know what? I want to shift my sound. I want to try to make something more universal, not something that just one type of person could grasp. So my first take at that was a song called Big Bad, which was on my project Suede. And I remember when I put that out, I put it out with a video, and it was like instantly, the reception was way different from the amount of engagement and moreover to specifically what people were saying. You know what I'm saying? And you're seeing them say things like, nah, this the one, it's that. So that just lets you know, like, okay, you've been paying attention and this is the one that spoke to you. You know what I'm saying? So that one was the first one that kind of let me know, okay, if I lean into trying different shit more, you know what I'm saying, I could probably start to do this at higher levels. So that was the first song to kind of show me that. So yeah, shout out Big Bad, shout out my guy Lucci for helping me bring that together.
So let's talk about the videos some more, you know, especially with the social media world we all live in now. You know, it's like visuals are a major part.
Definitely.
To be able to help promote the song. What's like the process of you making a video? Because I've seen in other interviews you say you always like to help direct.
So most of the times the video process starts for me when I'm making a song. I'm very like image and visual based with the type of thinker that I am. So most of the time when I'm writing a song or I've written it, I already have an idea of how I see the visual for that playing out. It could be just a specific scene of just one thing that I might see, one image that just keeps recurring in my head, and I build around that. So just being somebody that's always been like a cinema lover, you know what I'm saying, and just pays attention to a lot of the little details, that's like the funnest part to me. So when we make the music and then boom, we decide we're gonna do a video for it, it's like I got a team of people, you know what I'm saying, and it's like everybody has a role that is just important as the next person's, you know what I'm saying? So most of the time, me and my guy Flicks that shoots all of my videos, we'll get together, we'll almost lay out a storyboard like in the notes, you know what I'm saying? He'll change a few things, I'll change a few things, and then, you know, we kind of just get together, bro, and just pull off our vintage Shaq and Penny impression, you know what I mean? Like, that's the funnest part, as seeing the final product and pulling off shit that you didn't think was possible, and now you give it to everybody and they have more than just audio to be able to understand you by. So the video is the single most important part to me, like outside of the track itself.
Right, yeah, you got the good music covered. After having good music, the visual is the most thing, because when you think about it, like, you're using more senses. You know? Oh yeah. You have your, you know, hearing and then like seeing now, you know. And
how many, like, as somebody that, you know what I mean, that lives like on the other side of like the camera and this aspect of this world, like how many songs that you've heard that you've loved the song and then you've seen the video and it's just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa, you might have seen a video, this is your first experience with the song whatsoever, and the video just didn't hit right for you to be able to get into the song or be able to, you know what I mean, like see that song for what it actually is. Like, so that's definitely something I think about. Like, all right, if we got a good song, we definitely got to try to knock the video out the park, or just not do it until we can do it the right way.
Right, yeah, I mean, definitely, like, we live in this age of like just running on videos.
Yeah.
Like, technology has advanced so far where all of us honestly got access to it so we could even start in the first place, you know.
Facts.
Which is a blessing, but with that, you know, you get the onslaught of like everybody and their brother got a camera now, so it's just like some bullshit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, it's two sides to the coin, because you know what I'm saying. It's just like for the same reason, like, and I understand like how it can be bullshit to so many people, but like there was a time before, I guess you could say, to where people like me, the artists, they weren't doing things like picking up the camera and stuff like that before, not knowing this could be so much. It could be so much of a benefit to the project in general, just because I feel like as an artist, there's always a side of it that you're able to see, considering that you made the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're not, like, even if you're not picking up the camera, if you're not benefiting your team in some form of fashion, when it comes to that, it's like you're doing yourself and your team a disservice, you know? So right. I'm kind of all for everybody trying to do something. It's just like, just if you're gonna do it for real. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And end of the day, you know, there is a good percent of the time where something's better than nothing sometimes.
Facts.
You know, so if you're just doing something quick and it looks good, you know, it's not a Hype Williams music video.
Right.
But it's out there, and like we just talked about, like 2 different brain receptors are moving because you got the video out now too. So that's cool, but it's all about like just pushing through and getting through all the noise too. So like with you being able to direct, and it sounds like you're producing the videos too, like figuring out how to make it work, you know, that's going to be a big step for artists. It's a big upper hand for you as an artist to be able to have that extra drive and capability to even do that.
Facts. I just want it, bro. That's just what it comes down to. And then there's a lot of situations where we want to do certain shit, but we might not have the common resource, you know what I'm saying, to be able to get it, or we might not have the funding to be able to do it. So we got to take a path less traveled to get it, you know what I'm saying, to get whatever it is done that we're trying to achieve. And sometimes, bro, it's as simple as just using what you have. Like, if you understand your aesthetic and yourself enough as an artist, like, sometimes everything you need, bro, it's right in your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just all depends. You got to want it bad enough, and you got to be able to make sense of things. Right,
yeah, and a lot of people don't even realize, like, these real big music videos that we see from, like, Dirk or, you know, those type of artists, you know, those music videos cost $50,000 for the one video.
Yeah.
So people don't realize, oh, I want this, like, and you don't got the funding. Like, yeah, like, you're not going to get that. But if you get creative and you pull your resources together, like, yo, let me call my mans, he's down, he believes in me. Let me call my other homie, he knows a guy who has a studio. And, you know, you can make some magic.
Facts. And for the most part, Dirk and Jerry shoot running guns. So that lets you know, if they're shooting running guns, and at this level of things, you know what I'm saying, to get a videographer at this level and this stature, you're paying $50,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you better have your shit together by the time you get to that level. So it's like, this point right now is nothing but practice. So when me and my team are able to level up to different leagues, by the time we're starting to be able to work with some of these people, we're coming into the situation knowing much more than, you know what I'm saying, the average person. We already know how we do certain things, this and that. Oh, okay, boom. Yeah, we got experience in this too. So it's like, it does a lot for you, you know what I'm saying? And then also when you're working with these people, I feel like that's gonna make them respect you more.
People forget within this industry, you know, like, just being polite, how far that will get you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you're just easy to work with, polite, you know, you show up on time, like, that's like a big, like, artist tip that I would, you know, give out, is just honestly just be on time. Doesn't sound that crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're 10 minutes early for something and they don't have to wait on you, like, you're going to make the whole day easier because you're there.
You got to think how often that other person does this. You know what I'm saying? How many people that they've had be 10, 15 minutes late. You might be the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't ever want to be that guy, you know?
Right. Exactly. It's hard doing these videos. Like, it really is hard. So what's a tip you would give an artist who's like, okay, like, I want to shoot my first music video for this song I really like?
Try to build with somebody that believes in you. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to just pay somebody for a service, right? And to get an outcome for it, but it's a totally different outcome when you're building with somebody that not only provides the service, you know what I'm saying, they have belief in what you're doing too. They're gonna put more love into the outcome of it, you know what I mean? And not only that, it allows you guys to be able to grow together. It was kind of like what Metro Boomin was saying. He tells producers, find an artist and build with them. Find a videographer if you are lucky enough, you know what I'm saying? Try to find somebody that doesn't have 1,001 things going on and a whole bunch of placements and things like that, and try to work together, try to build, you know what I mean, and understand each other's vision. Because if you guys are able to build that together and build something that people love to look at, you guys are both out of here. So try to work with somebody that believes in you.
Crazy underrated. People saying this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. Was it the one?
For that time, yes. for that time, absolutely. But I mean, you know, with more time, more inspiration, you drop more music that you deem better. Other people might deem it as better as well. So, yeah, at that time, that was the one. But I done made the one at least 6 times since then.
You got a couple ones.
Facts.
You know, we're just kind of moving right along with, you know, your journey. You know, so like, what was the next point? Was it like the next point after that? Was it a high or was it a low came next? Because, you know,
a low definitely came. I feel like there was 2 significant ones. The one came during that time period that we were talking about with the last joint, and then between projects, a bit of one came just in the aspect of I feel like something that I struggle with as an artist sometimes is I'll drop a project or a body of work and immediately I panic in the aspect of like, what the fuck am I gonna do next? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I gonna do next? What's gonna come after this? So there was a panic, and there was also a sense of feeling like I had the responsibility to deliver more now that things are starting to work out better. So that sense of fear, I guess I would call it, I just channeled into making a newer body of work. I took like a year to make that one, and that was the follow-up project to Suede, which was Corduroy, which is my most successful project to date. But it was all self, bro. Like, it was all self, because in reality, that song, you know what I mean, the one from before, it was like, it was big to me. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it didn't do anything major, you know what I'm saying? All it did was just show me more was possible. And then when it's the first time you've done something a certain way, you're not comfortable in it yet, so you don't know if you can do it again, you know? So that's where a lot of the fear that was rooted, but I feel like I conquered a lot of that personal fear that I had within myself and my own personal growth within making that project Corduroy. And the creation of that process, like after a certain point, not even too long into making it, it didn't take me long to realize, like, I stopped thinking about all of that because I was having the most fun that I had ever had, like, putting together a body of work. I'm in Portland making stuff. I'm out here. It's just, everything is just coming together so well and so fast, and every situation felt like an intense, like, fourth quarter situation where you gotta deliver, you know what I'm saying? So in hindsight, thinking about it now, I was like, damn, that was fun as hell, but I would have never been able to get to that point if I didn't go through some type of low, you know what I'm saying, before that. So we dropped Corduroy, and then in the same year, I dropped another EP to kind of like finish out that sequence of things called So It Seems, and that's my most recent body of work out right now.
Dope, yeah, because it's just like, almost if you can get it to a point where it's healthy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that pressure is gonna, you know, make a diamond.
Yeah, you
know?
thrive in it. You start to thrive in it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the trick is to, like I said, like, figure out how to make it work for you. The straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Piece of straw, you know, that last little bit will do it for you. But
see, it's all routine based though. You know what I'm saying? Because it got to a point where it was almost like I was intentionally putting myself in high pressure situations to see if I can deliver, how well I can deliver. Not only that, to just give you like that added fuel, little shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got a certain amount of days to get a feature back or something like that, and you're like, oh, it's done already, and you ain't even wrote nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? You just know, like, all right, if I say this and I put it on, and I tell this person that trusts me that I got them by this day, oh, I know I gotta deliver now. I have to. I can't go back on my word. You know what I'm saying? So that was a thing that I liked doing for a minute. Now I'm like, all right, that's not the smartest way to go about stuff. You know what I'm saying? It just makes it a little funner, I guess.
Right. The high risk, high reward type shit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. It feel like shooting a free throw with the game on the line.
Yeah,
you know?
with the 3 seconds on the ball.
Yeah, bro.
Like you talked about traveling a little bit. You know, how important is traveling as an artist?
It's everything. Because me personally, I was somebody that went through what you kind of like to call, what I like to call the hometown effect. Just like you might not be able to get shit going the way that you want to at home for whatever the reason could be. It could be so many reasons, you know what I'm saying? But leaving outside of the community that knows you and going other places and seeing what other people do, it opens up so many doors and it allows so many more people to love what it is that you're doing, So if I wasn't going to some of these places, I wouldn't have met certain people, which means I wouldn't have gained certain fans. I wouldn't have had certain opportunities. So it's like, I try to go somewhere else as often as I can. So it's like, as artists at this level, if we got friends anywhere else, bro, just go pull up for a couple days and sleep on the couch. Just see what they be doing out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's super important. You always have to have like a place that's kind of like a secondary home that I feel like has more going on than wherever home is. Unless you're somebody that's blessed to be in the midst of, you know what I'm saying, where everything is popping off. Like me, it's always good for me to be able to go back between here, Arizona, and Phoenix, because you always get to sit back, engage, and not necessarily see what's working on a music level, but how things are being ran. How do they run shows at these venues? You know what I'm saying? How do they do these type of things? It's just paying attention to what the status quo is and why these areas are so highly respected. You take some of that information and you start applying it to some of your own program, you know what I mean? When you take that home, it's like, it's transcendent almost, From
when you started to that last project, like what's the time frame in that, just so everybody realizes?
7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
It's a lot of consistency, a lot of work,
Yeah. And I actually, I took about a year off, you know what I'm saying, when I was like 20, and wasn't exactly on purpose, but yeah, this shit is you know what they say? The average overnight success takes 10 years, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Overnight success is 10 years of working in one night for people to realize it.
While you sleeping, it's going up, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know.
I'm all about giving artists tips on how to achieve their goals and all that kind of stuff, and that's something that has popped up in every single interview, like including this one. So that's all you've talked about is just working and going through stuff. Like, let's talk about a little bit about that and just like what consistency means to you.
Well, as somebody that wasn't necessarily blessed with like a super successful mentor or anything of that nature, the theme was really just fucking up till we get it right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're not constantly putting those reps in every day and being consistent, you're not going to learn certain things. You know what I'm saying? You really just have to just keep doing and keep doing and keep doing and pull data from all your results. The losses included, Pay attention to all of it. That's the best thing that you can do, is just pay attention, make sure you keep receipts on your data to some extent, even if it's just in your head, and keep dropping, keep being consistent, because something's gonna hit, Like, Cole said something that kind of goes into the way that I think. It's like that moment that you decide to stop, the very next move that you made, that, you know what I'm saying, that next try could have been the one that got you to where you was trying to go. So it's just like, there's always another shot in the, you know what I'm saying? There's always another shot in the cannon. You just got to keep firing. What was your biggest accomplishment that you achieved so far, personally? Personally, was getting to open up for Earth Gang. That was a really, really big accomplishment for me, just because right around the time when I started, when I was 18, Boss went on tour for Too High to Riot, and he came to Phoenix, hella excited for that show. Never even heard of Earth Gang before. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is this some type of like global warming group? Like, what is this? Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And never heard of them before, never knew who those guys were. And when I tell you, like, they were my favorite part of the show by far. Like, they took the fucking roof off the venue with their performance. It was insane. It's still hands down the best show that I went to, and just those memories of that. And I remember being in that moment and just being like, someday I'm gonna share a stage with them. Like, I specifically remember thinking that to myself, and lo and behold, you know what I'm saying, a couple years down the line, I'm their opening act they were the opening act for somebody's tour. Now, a couple years down the line, I'm the opening act for their headlining tour. So that was a real cool, like, full circle moment that just kind of shows you, like, yo, you can end up anywhere you want to. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely one of those affirming things, and probably the biggest personal accomplishment for myself, for sure.
Real quick, since we were just on the topic, I want to talk about independent. What independent means to you, and the difference between being independent and being on a major label.
Mm-hmm. So full disclosure, I've never been signed to a major before. I have friends that have been, you know what I mean, and I just feel like throughout time we kind of get the general idea of what it is. I mean, a major label gives you instant funding, you know what I'm saying, backing. They can get you to the front of a line in a lot of situations and get you out there at the snap of a finger. So I feel like that's the major difference that we've learned. The biggest one that I feel like us as independent artists, the only thing that really feels endearing is funding. You know what I'm saying? The thing that feels real endearing is funding. It's like, if you're somebody that is independent, which means everything is paid for by either, you know what I'm saying, you, your team, or something of that nature. You're not, this money that you're using for that, there's no double-edged sword with that. That's what independent means in my opinion. And also, it's like, it can be a little harder, you know? So it's very much dependent on what you see for yourself, the type of music you feel like you make, and where you see it going. Homie Travis Thompson, he had said something on a podcast before that resonated with me, because he is somebody that has experience of being with the major. He was saying his biggest thing that I agree with is just like, okay, now I don't feel like I make music that's suited for a major. If you have a certain sound in music to where you're like somebody that basically, bro, you can shit out radio sounding type of hits, then why would you not sign to a major? That might be the best case scenario for somebody. But then there's also other people, you know what I mean, artists that are could be more niche sounding, or just have their own specific thing that they like to do. Then giving somebody else control might not be the best thing for you, you know, for your career specifically. And I feel like for now, that's kind of like the side of things that I'm on. I'm not somebody that I don't know enough about the ins and outs of everything major to just flat out just be like, okay, I hate everything. You know what I'm saying? But I can say I wouldn't want to sign to a major at the cost of giving up everything that I've worked for at this point, in the sense of just like control, deciding what you're going to put out, what works best for your image or sound and all of those things. I like to be the person that makes the final call and all of that. So I feel like that's why being independent works best for me. But the next person being a major might, you know what I'm saying, might work best for you.
Right, yeah, and it's all about, end of the day, like, who's on that team and who you end up signing with, you know?
And what you want out of your career.
It comes down to every artist, too, and people forget that you still have to hustle on a major. Like, they're not just gonna, once you sign your shit away, it's just like, okay, well, you still have to work, too.
Yeah, it's not just like, okay, great, you're signed, you're Drake now. Like, right, nah, yeah. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of people that are signed to majors that we've probably never even heard of. You know what I'm saying? Just because whatever their situation is like, has made it to where they're not able to drop music unless this person says so, or the person that signed them might not be at the company no more. Now you're just sitting on the shelf.
Just fucked.
You know what I'm saying? And that type of stuff does scare me. So yeah, like being independent is it's fun, bro. It's just not fun sometimes when you want to pull off certain things or do certain stuff and you don't have a quick $10,000 to do it. You know what I mean?
You know.
Like, Lil Russell is a great example, bro. Like, he is very much sustaining off of music. You know what I'm saying? Like, that man don't gotta get up and work no 9 to 5 for nobody. He doesn't have to work on anybody else's time but his own. He gets to pick and choose his opportunities, but he's also set himself up the way that he wants to be positioned. I know people who wouldn't probably drop it, you know what I'm saying, drop their album on a platform where it's direct to consumer because their goal might be a little bit different. You might be somebody that's like, no, I do want to drop it on the regular DSPs. I want to start trying to build my numbers up this way. I want to try to get the most streams that I can on DSP or whatever it is, you know? So there's people that want other things, you know what I'm saying? And if you're just going for sustainability and you want to be able to just live off of it and do things at your own leisure, then yeah, independent is probably best for you.
What have you been working on lately?
Man, I'm just creating when I feel inspired, you know what I'm saying? So I just put out a song called Outside featuring the homie I Hate You, Alex, produced by the homie Walt Massa. I just put that out. Other than that, bro, I'm really just kind of focused on traveling again, trying to, you know what I mean, get out, go more places, do more shows, and put shit out when I feel the need, you know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna have music ready, but right now I feel like the goal is just trying to be outside a little bit more. No, you know what I'm saying? No shameless plug to the drop, but you know, that's really the theme of things right now. Just trying to be present, do shows, meet more people, you know, shake more hands. We're going a few different places. I got some stuff coming up in Kansas City, Missouri in April. I'm gonna be doing something in Phoenix in May, as well as LA in May. June, I'm actually going to South Africa for 2 weeks. Doing some music related stuff out there, some community based stuff too. And then June 30th, I'm going back to Seattle for a show that I have out there. So yeah, we just moving around a lot these next couple months.
Word, yeah, and like this is gonna be out before all that stuff, so make sure you pop out.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you are in any of these places, you make sure you pop out, come show some love, man.
Goal of this, you know, interview segment is to give artists exposure that I feel, you know, deserve it. You know, your shit's fucking dope, dude.
Appreciate
like,
you, bro.
You know, but the other side of the coin is to, you know, help other artists out that I can't get to.
Right,
you know?
right.
What are some of the biggest tips that you know now that you wish you knew when you were coming up?
First, importantly, check your junk mail. Make sure you check your junk mail. Always check that. It be money in there and we miss it. So I'm speaking from personal hurt, but it's true. You just gotta make sure you check your junk mail. But on a serious tip, being yourself is the best case scenario. You know what I mean? For any of us. Just figure out how you want people to see what you deem as your true self and give that shit to the people as often as you can. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to do anything else besides you. That's the best thing that I can say. Aside from that, really is just be patient, run your race. You know what I mean? Something can be going on for this person over here, and because that's not going on for you, does not mean that you're less successful. You're not as good. You're not that. So run your race, you know, keep your eyes forward and just be patient.
Patience is a virtue.
Like a motherfucker in this industry.
You gotta tell me twice, man.
Bro.
You've been really taking off on streaming.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You've been going ridiculous. Even the other day, like, coincidentally, I just forget who the first artist was I had on and shit, but I had 2 or 3 of your songs come in the Spotify rotation, like, organically.
That's dope.
You know? So
that's dope.
like, oh, shit. Like, This is a sign. Like, I'm excited. We're getting ready to do this interview. End of the week type shit.
Hell yeah.
You know, you have any tips with streaming? You know, obviously, you have to be patient and be consistent, all that kind of stuff. But anything that you've seen really help you?
Collaboration. Like, Just like when we were talking about traveling and stuff like that, like your friends have fans that you don't have and vice versa, you know what I mean? And when you guys put out stuff together, it gives both of you the opportunity to get exposed to more people than who are just immediately familiar with you. So doing as much of that as possible, and don't pay for no playlist. Don't pay for no playlist. Like if you wait and you just keep dropping good music, you just need something to hit one time. If something hits one time, you know what I'm saying, naturally other things are gonna start picking it up. But it's just like just keep dropping. If it's like if you can sit in the studio and listen to this and be like, nah, this is dope, this is some shit people would listen to, put that shit out, you know what I mean? And keep doing that. Soon enough, you now have a collection of 8 to 10 songs that people really like. Instead of doing 1,000 streams a month or 1,000 streams a day on one song or whatever it is, now you got 10 songs that people really like. Now you're doing 10,000 streams a day. So it's like, my shit comes from several different projects and different songs. So it's just like having a catalog of shit for people to listen to has done me the most justice so far.
Right, yeah, building your catalog.
Absolutely.
Real quick, I want to go over this one thing that I see all the time. How do you feel about artists just holding on to their good songs?
Now, I understand it, I do, and I'm respectful to everybody's creative process, but we all have those friends and people that we know that make insane music all the time. And you'll listen to it and you'll be like, this fire, bro, like, when it's gonna come out? You know what I'm saying? And you get that look from them, or that like, I don't know, this has to be right, that has to be. Me personally, sometimes I be jealous of some of my friends. It'd be like, boy, you got 10 to 15 songs that are out of here. If you put them out at any given moment, and it's like you're just waiting for this quote unquote right time, there is no right time. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start somewhere. Just put that shit out, you know what I mean? And I was even guilty of that at a point, but then I started to realize it starts to get overwhelming. You start to have too much music, and then you might miss the time frame where you feel like it's acceptable to you as an artist to drop this song. You might move past this window and be like, I don't even make this type of music anymore. I don't want to put this out ever. So it's like, just put that shit out. But everybody doesn't see it that way. So the homies that have good songs that don't want to put them out, get out your fucking head, drop them. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I understand rollouts.
Right, rollouts. But like you said, if it's dope in the studio and everybody's vibing to it, you know.
What's the question?
Exactly. You talked about management real quick. Like, how important is the team to you and your career?
They are super pivotal. Just because I feel like what they do and the things that they help me with, it allows me to pretty much just like focus on creating. Because for so long, I was doing everything. I was my own manager. I was doing all of that type of stuff, you know what I mean, with that in my group of friends. So now having people that are out for the best interests of my career and the betterment of myself as an artist, it makes the workload when you do have a crazy one feel a lot less stressful, because you know you got good people in your corner. So my management is super important. Shout out to them.
We're just kind of finishing up the first quarter of this new year. You know, what are some of your goals for this year?
My goals this year, I have one major goal. A lot of other stuff I'm just kind of just letting life happen. But the major goal for the year is hopefully to be able to be in a position to where I can go do a couple shows in a couple cities, you know what I'm saying? Almost maybe kind of like a tour, but not really, you know what I'm saying? Like one, I want things to finally be there the way that I deem them to be able to perform at that next level. So that's just the goal now. So I'm taking steps and trying to do things to prepare myself to make something like that happen. So that's really the goal. And I know the things that I'm doing, like going outside and being in some of these other places, are gonna help with that. So yeah, this is kind of like a show and prove year for myself. I'm gonna do like a Really, bro, I'm just gonna take the Brent Fries blueprint and just do what they did, bro. All their team really did is we target the 3 major cities, the 3 cities that are giving us the most listenership consistently. We're gonna figure out how we can make a show make sense in these areas, even if it doesn't in this current moment. We're gonna go out there, we're gonna try to get a feel of the scene, try to figure out, you know what I'm saying, how we can get more involved in that scene out there and then go from there. So that's the goal. I wanna do, I'm gonna say 2, maybe 3 cities. You know what I'm saying? But for ones that I'm like, okay, I know we didn't put the work in. When we put these up and this show date comes available, we're gonna put out good numbers. It's not gonna be a waste of nobody's time.
Well, it's never a waste of time, but it's, you know, you want to go with the path of least resistance.
Exactly.
For that, you know, that nice little win, you know? Who's one artist or a creative even that we should interview next?
Artist or creative that you should interview next. I want to give you a good one. I would either say, I got 2 people, bro. Honestly, I'm just gonna say both of them. I would say Dobie Dobe and Dave B. Both of those guys are out here too.
Fire. So yeah, we're gonna set shit up and
For sure.
You know, be on the lookout.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Final thoughts. Go out on.
We outside. Go stream outside right now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a blessed one. That's it. That's it, brother. Nothing else.
Yeah. Any shout outs?
Shout out to my management. Shout out those guys. Shout out my whole JV team. And shout out my mama, man, you know, because without her, we wouldn't even be doing this right now.